Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 24th regional meeting of the Royal Philatelic Society, London. Here we have a picture when we had our first meeting in Mumbai, 2013. 11 years completed, and this is the 24th meeting again happening in Mumbai. So I wanted to share that picture with you guys, and we are already running a bit late. So without wasting any time, I'm going to welcome our first speaker of the day, Peter Hornung, on Mountbatten subject. Peter, the floor is yours, please.
A very good morning to you. I would like so we're ready, yeah? Okay. I would like to talk a little bit about some covers, some letters of a person. I won't comment very much on this person, on Louis Mountbatten, because there are so many aspects, and I'm not sure whether we know all the aspects of his life yet, and I'm not very sure whether we want to know all the aspects of his life. So basically what I'm talking about is a part of social philately, because these are, you see from a first glance, these are the covers addressed in his handwriting, which is a very special one. This was, by the way, the young Mountbatten, this one, in capital letters, but the rest was a bit grown up. And you see stamps from Britain, France, Sweden, and this letterhead of Windsor Castle. So he had, so to speak, a very colorful life, and he was traveling a lot, even as a young person, as a student. So maybe we can start with the first slide. So this is a cover from January 1920. The covers you now see, most of these covers were offered, to give you a bit background, by a seller in in Great Britain, the United Kingdom, who didn't even know who was the sender. He thought, oh, this is kind of nobility who these covers were addressed to, but it was only the covers, not the letters inside, so he didn't know who the sender was. It was sent to a certain Marquess of Milford Haven, which is a small village in Wales. Nobody knows Milford Haven, only if you come from Wales. The background of this name is, this is a letter from the young Louis. He was 19 when addressing this cover to his father. The father was originally Prince Louis of Battenberg, Prince Louis of Battenberg, Ludwig von Battenberg, the German name. But in 1917 they had to change their names. Because it was a German name, and it was British royalty, or members of the British royal family, of the extended royal family, and the king wanted all the German names of British noblemen and royalty abolished. There was a law. So they had to change the name, and the Battenbergs, Louis Battenberg received the title of Marquess of Milford Haven, and you know what Battenberg became? It was Mountbatten, because Berg in German is a mount, so they just turned it around. So Mountbatten was not a British name, but a German. So these Battenbergs finally became Mountbattens. There was only a few, there was a part of the family who still kept the name Battenberg, and the last Princess of Battenberg, died in 1971 or something. It was Anna of Battenberg. But this is a cover of the young Louis. And you see on the lower left side his initials. And this is important. This all the royal family and the extended royal family and other people as well, nobility, put their initials on to the covers. And from these initials you can see, oh, this is obviously something special. So at that time, this was mailed from Cambridge. Louis studied at Christ's College, Cambridge. And right, he started there in October 1990. Next slide, please. Yeah. So nearly all the covers he sent over decades were initialed by Louis Mountbatten with LM until 1946, and then MOB, Mountbatten of Burma, when he became Earl Mountbatten of Burma. Next slide. So this is a cover 1 year later. It's a bit torn at the top, but nevertheless, you see now you see more of his handwriting. It's to his father as well, and you see how he sent a letter to his father. So it's the military rank, it's the title, it's all the initials he has, GCB, GCB, GCBO, whatever, KT. That's the kind of, that's the way he addressed letters to his fathers. And you see his initials are slightly changing. He's developing. This is about one year later. At that time, Mountbatten was lieutenant in the Royal Navy, and Titworth, where this letter was postmarked, there was the 4th Royal Fleet Reserve Portsmouth Battalion based. Next slide. And you see here, just to compare how these initials develop. Okay, this is a cover to his father with the mute and dateless postmark. So we don't know where it was postmarked, but obviously it was Navy mails, because at that time the young Mountbatten was in the Navy. And it was addressed to Fish Ponds, Hampshire, which was the Milford Haven's residence they bought in Jan 1990. And obviously, with as a Navy cover, it's a bit, it's not clear. I had a problem, obviously, with this. But it's addressed to England and bearing British stamps. So obviously it was mailed abroad. This is why I think this is a... next, please. And this is his father, Ludwig von Battenberg. So, sorry, not Ludwig, it's Alexander of Battenberg. So I've confused it. His father was Alexander of Battenberg. Okay, next one. And we now jump to the year 1929. You recognize the LM. It's just developed in the 20s, and it's now addressed not to his father, but to the Marchioness, the Dowager Marchioness of Milford Haven. And if there's Dowager, you know, the father had died in 1921. So this is a painting of his mother. She lived for a few more decades, and all what I'm showing now are covers addressed to his mother. This is all males. Obviously, I don't know where these covers come from. Whether somebody was in the archive, took them away, sold them years later. Whether it's from the heritage of the Marchioness of Milford Haven, I don't know. At least she lived in Kensington Palace at that time, and this is one Bagnol. This is a French spa. So these letters come from the military sometimes, and sometimes from the most luxurious hotels in the world. So this was the life of Mountbatten at that time. He was a wealthy young nobleman near to the royal family, married to a very wealthy woman. So Edwina, you of course know her name. And next, please. And again, here you see it's developing. You see it's a little bit changing, but you recognize this handwriting, and you see also in letters 30 years later it's the same handwriting. Next, please. Now it's same year, August 29, sent from Paris to his mother, still at Kensington Palace. It's this, for example, next please, is from Ritz Hotel. You see it's a cover, an envelope from Ritz. And this is something you see over the decades, where Mountbatten is. He takes the stationery. It's mostly not his own, but when he's in Windsor Castle, he takes the Windsor Castle stationery. When it's at Ritz Hotel, he takes this. And later we see a cover when he's visiting Maharajas. He's also taking the stationery of the Maharaja, writing letters on it. So next, please. And this was from 29. In 1929, there was this famous song becoming popular, "Put In on the Ritz." So it was, yeah, he was he had a colorful life too, so to speak. He had a quite nice time at the best hotels of the world. Next, please. This is, we jumped back, I mixed it, sorry. This is from 27. This is the first, obviously from the Navy, because the other one with the mute postmarks you only can suspect. This is a letter with a machine cancellation received from Her Majesty's, His Majesty's ships. At that time, Mountbatten was Assistant Fleet Wireless and Signals Officer of the Mediterranean Fleet. Still with a British stamp, so using British stamps abroad, but only cancelled on arrival in London. This we often see with his letters. This is a letter which was in normal Navy mails. So this is a mail bag for all the Navy mails from this unit, from this ship or whatever. Later, there are special bags for Mountbatten's mail because it's when he was Viceroy, for example. This was special only for him and his family. So next one. This is just to illustrate. This is I don't own this. This is his passport of that time, just to see his photo and if you compare, for example, the M of Mountbatten here with the M of Milford Haven or Marchioness, you see that's his handwriting, his signature. Next one, please. Now we're in the year 1930. This is a cover, also with the British stamp, maybe sent from London. We don't know because there's nothing on the backside. But this time it's addressed to his mother in Darmstadt. Darmstadt was the home of the German part of the Mountbatten family, the Battenbergs. Battenberg, this name is originally a small town in the German state of Hesse. So this is the state where Darmstadt is. And at that time, his mother obviously visited her brother, the Grand Duke Ernest August of Hesse. In German it's the Großherzog bei Rhein, von Hessen and by Rhein. It was the uncle of Louis. Next one. This is the Neues Palais in the new palace in Darmstadt. Just a photo. Okay, next one. And this is the uncle, Grand Duke Ernst August or Ernest August. Okay. This is a cover from 1930 as well, but this time with a Swedish stamp, and the mother was obviously in France at that time. Also typical handwriting, initials, but next one please. On the back side, it's hard to see. You just see the crown. It's embossed on the back side. This is stationery of the Ulriksdal Slot. This means Ulriksdal Slot is a castle near Stockholm, and it was a castle of the where the Crown Prince Gustav Adolf and his wife Louise lived. And Louise was later Queen of Sweden, and she was the elder sister of Louis Mountbatten. They lived there. So obviously Mountbatten was visiting them, and it was postmarked in Stockholm. Next one. This is the Crown Prince Gustav Adolf, the Swedish Crown Prince, and his wife Louise Mountbatten, then later the Queen of Sweden. Okay? This is one of the letters which is not from this group of letters addressed to him, but it's nevertheless interesting. It's only the cover front, but it's nice because it's obviously from Mountbatten himself. Somebody took it. It's a letter from Monte Carlo. We don't know whose the sender is, but it's addressed to a ship, HMS Wishart, in Malta at that moment. Next. This was a Royal Navy destroyer deployed to the Mediterranean. And Mountbatten at that time was there. And next one. And next. And you see here's a note handwritten by Mountbatten on the front. Lieutenant Roper. I found him in some files. This guy existed. Please see me referring this afternoon. This afternoon, LM. So it's the initials we usually see on the other letters as well. Next one. This is August 1937, a letter from Hotel George to his mother. Next one. To his mother at Jagdschloss Wolfsgarten. This is also near Darmstadt. It was the summer residence or the hunting lodge of the German part of the Mountbatten family, of the Hessen family. And it was written in a tragic time. In August, everything still was fine. When Louis was staying in Paris at that hotel and wrote to his mother. But in October, first Ernst August died, the Grand Duke, and then it was this infamous plane crash near Ostende in Belgium, where 5 members of the Hessen family perished, and also part of the family of the Mountbattens and Philip's cousins of Prince Philip. So they tried to, I think they tried to land in Ostende. I wrote the crash reports, but I'm very much into plane crashes as well. And they tried to land it. It was a foggy day, and they missed the landing strip. There's also, I'm still searching for it, there's also a few letters which survived this plane crash, but they're very rare, because their plane crash mail is quite interesting as a collection field, and there are crashes where you have many letters left, but there are also a few crashes or many crashes where you only have few letters. And this is one of the few, so I don't have, still chasing for a cover of this, because this would fit in this collection as well. Next one, please. This is an April 1940 cover, also with the received from HM ships, but with the other part removed. It's initialed by Mountbatten, and also bears a censorship marking from HM ship, and filled in by somebody else. What's also interesting is Mountbatten was captain at the time and commander of the 5th destroyer flotilla aboard HMS Kelly, and it was addressed. Next one. This is the HMS Kelly. Next. It was initially, you see, addressed to Kensington Palace. He started to write this address onto it, Kensington Palace, then LO, and then he stopped, crossed out, and wrote Broadlands, Romsey, Hampshire. Obviously, it came to his mind when addressing this envelope that his mother was moved outside London. I suspect it was she was evacuated, evading the German Blitz. It was before the Germans started to bomb London, but it was a time where there were also suspicions that may happen. So she moved into the countryside because it was deemed to be safer there. So this, but obviously he addressed it, and then my mother has moved, so she's in up, and now it's off. It's off. I have a loud voice, so there may be not a problem, but is it the oh yeah, it's the battery. Take this. Okay. Okay, fine. Next one. Yeah. Next one. This is a 1941 cover. This is obviously not in the handwriting of Mountbatten, but obviously also containing a message from him. I tell you why. This is normal British stamp, postmark of London SW1, addressed to the Marchioness. And you see this one here, Dicky. Somebody wrote Dicky to this letter. Next one, please. You see the handwriting. If you know handwritings, you see this is not a British one. This is not handwritten by somebody who's learned his writing in the United Kingdom. Also not in the 19th century. Next one. This was his mother. This was the Marchioness of Milford Haven, Princess Victoria of Hesse, who wrote this. There are several of these covers with this correspondence where it was written Dicky on it. There are other covers where there was written other things, and some Dicky's letter, or this is Dicky. Next one, please. And just to compare, next. Yeah, this is a cover which was sent by his mother a lot earlier in 1890s, just to compare. Compare the handwriting. It's a bit mixed up here. Next one, please. This is on the back side, Victoria, for Victoria of Hesse. Next. And here you have Dicky. And you see the angle is the same, the letters. If you have a look at the D, that's similar. So it's the Dicky letters from 1940. So this is 50 years apart, but nevertheless you see that's her handwriting. And here you have she also initialed her letters, but this is means VB for Victoria von Battenberg. Sometimes Victoria is written with a K in the German way, and sometimes on the back side you see Victoria is written with a C. But this sometimes differs. So also the sources say Victoria with K. Sometimes if they're German sources, if they're English, they say C. But this is obviously from Malta, sent to Darmstadt, and to the Grand Duke at that time, Grand Duke Louis VI, who was the husband of Alice, of the Princess Alice of the United Kingdom, daughter of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Next one, please. This, now we jump ahead again. This is a letter 1944, postmarked in London. You see, readdressed, first sent to letter 15 Chester Street. This is an interesting address because this was an apartment which was owned by the Mountbattens. And there, about 3 or 4 years later after the war, Prince Philip stayed for a time, because when he wasn't married, when he was engaged to the young Princess Elizabeth, he stayed at Chester Street. But obviously the Dowager has moved from Chester Street to Kensington Palace, which Chester is Belgravia. So it's a very nice area and a And Mountbatten at that time was the Supreme Allied Commander, Southeast Asia Command then. Next one. You see this handwriting here, can you read it? Diary, it reads. And this is PP for pages 265, 275, and there you have 9th to 23rd October 1944. And this is, I wondered what this means, because it's the handwriting of his mother, of the person who was this addressed to. And so I got me the personal diary of Mountbatten. Hero stories, of course, you may know he's written by themselves, but this corresponds to the chapters. So obviously this was an envelope where he put his diary, his written diary into and sent to his mother, and his mother was collecting these pages, and and she wrote what pages of the diary it is and what time, because it's certain chapters, it says from 9:23, from the 24th to the 27th, so it's quite particular, and you can identify that this corresponds to what is in the diary. Next. So this, yeah, right. It matches to the dated sections in his diary. Next one. Yeah, that is addressed. By the way, this is the handwriting of the letter we saw before, where I don't know who it was. It was maybe a lady in waiting, a courtier, somebody working there, or a family member even, but I cannot identify. Next one. Now this is also not from this collection, but just show you, and this is also not private mail, this is military mail. This is courier mail sent by Mountbatten at that time when he was Supreme Allied Commander, Southeast Asia. Next one. This was sent from Kandy in Ceylon to the US Army. It's addressed to an APO 493, which at that time was in Kharagpur, West Bengal, and the 20th Bomber Squadron. And this is the letter, which is still in there, to an American soldier, to this Colonel Edmondson, who was leaving that theater at that time. So obviously it was not sent as mail, but as a courier cover, and so there's no postmark on it, but it has a kind of registration. So that's this headquarters south, or headquarter, I cannot tell, and registered number. So, but this was done not only with mail, but also with courier covers. Next one. Yeah, it's marked OHMS, but I think that was not necessary. They did this, but OHMS on His Majesty's service was only necessary for normal mail. Next one. This is a quite interesting story of this cover, but I don't know the whole story. I would like to tell you, but I can't. This is first, you see, this is why, by the way, why you found these items on eBay for a few pounds, yeah? Because you see this cover and think, stamps, absolutely ordinary, postmark of London EC, yeah, whatever. If you have a closer look to it, you see what it is. Still Mountbatten, now with M of B, Mountbatten of Burma, and addressed to his mother in Kensington Palace, and mailed in London on the 31st of July 1947. At that time, he was Viceroy of India. Next one. You see this M of B. Next one. And it's initialed for Mountbatten of Burma. Most probably this was sent by a special bag. I just bought last week, I bought some items which have markings for these special bags. There were special bags for the Viceroy and the surrounding, sent by special plane, military plane, from Delhi to London and posted there. There is also mail from Mountbatten posted at Delhi with Indian stamps, but the private mail was carried to England and mailed there. Next one. Now we had the 31st of July. This is interesting. This is a cover also from the 31st of July with same postmark, British postage, but the different handwriting. This is the handwriting of Edwina Mountbatten. And you see here E.M. of B, Edwina Mountbatten of Burma, and also addressed to the mother who is living in Kensington Palace. I don't know what the occasion was, why they both wrote a letter on this day to the mother, because the letter inside is not in my collection, so I don't know. Next one. This is no photo of these both. Next. This is quite a mysterious cover. I talked about the Maharaja. Also with London, also with MOB, to his mother, in the handwriting of his mother, the date she received the letter. And it was 1948. At that time, he still was Viceroy. And on the backside, it's his seal here, and it's a crest which I didn't know. For this, I used Google reverse image search. I uploaded it and immediately found, next one please, found this one. It's the crest of the Maharaja of Bikaner, the last Maharaja, Sadhu Singh. Oh no, sorry, he was not a viceroy of course in Jan 48, but already Governor General of India. Because, you all know, Mountbatten was the last viceroy, and after the independence, in 1947, he became the first Governor General until the beginning of 1948, when an Indian took over. So, and he was on that day on a 3-day visit to Bikaner. Next. There's a video on YouTube where you can, on this visit to Bikaner. Next one. And this is a photo of the last Maharaja, Sadhu Singh, and Mountbatten during this visit. So obviously in the evening at this visit, he was sitting there, writing his mail to his mother, and just took the stationery. But also this was carried in a special bag. I guess it was first carried to Delhi and then in a special plane to London and mailed there. Next one. This is a cover after the war, July 1949. At that time, he served as commander of the 1st Cruiser Squadron in the Mediterranean Fleet, and he was a vice admiral then. And this was the last one I have, because I have one cover from 1950, but she died in September 1950 at the age of 87. It's a letter which was mailed at the military post office, at the field post office in Athens. It's field post office 782. So this is one of the rare letters where you really see where they come from. But most of the military letters and the letters in his time of Viceroy, they are only stamped in London on arrival. Next one. And this is on the back. This is the embossed seal of the Royal Navy. Okay. And finally, we come to an end with a unique cover. This cover is not from the Mother Has Died. It's from 1957. And I was really lucky to get this cover with its contents. It's sent in August 1957 from Broadlands, from the Mountbatten residence. At that time, Mountbatten was First Sea Lord and Chief of the Naval Staff between 1955 and 59. It's initialed M of B, and it's sent to Prince Philip. His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, KG, etc., Buckingham Palace, London SW1, and here marked buyback to Balmoral Castle. It was August. and the royal family always was in Balmoral Castle in summer. So it's most probably the only letter in private hands. Don't ask me how I got it. I bought it at an auction, but I don't know how the auctioneer got hold of it, or the one who was selling this. The narrative, the story behind it was there was a journalist in the 1950s who was writing a biography on the royal family, and who received from the royal family a few private letters. There were also one letter from Queen Elizabeth written here in India in 1962 to her mother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and one letter from Elizabeth to Philip. And so I've never seen, I'm collecting these items for years, I've never seen such items. Next one. This, sorry, just on the back side you have his wax seal here. Okay, next one, because it's interesting. No. Okay, this is the letter inside. You can push the next. This is the letter. The more. Okay, one more, and it's signed. Ever yours dutifully and affectionately, Dickie. Dickie was his family name. And what's interesting about this letter, just see, 80,000 UK adult males. He's discussing naval, army secrets, military secrets in a letter, in an open letter sent by normal mail to his, to a family member, yeah? So this is quite strange. He was discussing openly the strength of the Royal Navy, and about what the Air Force wants, about what the Navy wants. So this was Mountbatten. Yeah, he was not interested in, because it was family affair. If he was discussing this with his mother, with the Queen, with the head of state, okay, as the Chief of Naval Staff. But he's discussing it with Philip, yeah, the Prince Consort. So this is, and he's writing. Maybe it's interesting to Lilibet and as well. So it's quite openly. So they discussed this, and this was during the Cold War. So 1957, yeah, where the Soviets were intercepting everything and try to get hold of this, but he's discussing it in a letter, Dickie and Philip. Yeah. Okay, next one. It's just whether we should accept all volunteers and have another 8,000 or 10,000 more men, 3 or 4 frigate squadrons more, and a 4th carrier was left open. He was discussing these matters. He was writing matters from a secret meeting in this letter, sent by normal mail, not even registered. So he discussing with his nephew. Yeah, and that's it. That was a little bit about his Mountbatten and his private mails. Yeah? I hope you found it interesting. Thank you.